Oh ho ho, it's magic with a K. Never believe it's not so. It's magic, but with a K. What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and welcome to episode 46 of All Hail the King. In this video, we're taking a look at the New Mutants alternate costume for Magic. I prefer the Infiltrator costume for PvP, so that's the version we're going to use. And there's going to be 3 different team-ups shown, which I first mentioned on the From the Helicarrier podcast. Now, if you're not already down with FTH, you can go and check them out at www.thehelicarrier.com and tell them the King sent you. Now, you don't have to tell them anything, but feel free to check out all the past podcasts and content while you're there. Now, this first team-up of Null and Magik is probably the most powerful of the group. It relies on World Breaker, Meteor Swarm, and magic attacks. Basically, we're going to use a very early World Breaker on Null's first turn, and then we're going to increase those Meteor Swarm stacks with magic effects. The Signpost is my favorite gadget for this, and to be honest with you, since we got a big and fast proc, I should have just waited to use it. That is, until after Null's turn, but we just got a bit over anxious and used it on our first turn, rather than waiting until after the World Breaker. It's really not going to hurt this team, but I wanted to point out just a little extra tip that you can use to make this team run even more efficiently. They really are a well-oiled machine and are extremely difficult to handle. Of course, it owes most of its success to Meteor Swarm, but you can also check out my full build once again on my blog, and I'll place a link to it in the description below. Once we get these stacks going, it's only going to be a matter of time before the enemies die to these dots. Pestilence Beast and Red Hulk are almost a welcome sight, but trust me, no one can slow down Null and his debuffs. Then Magik also has a few magic attacks up her sleeve. Most importantly, her 2 best abilities, her level 6 and level 2. Or well, I don't know if I should say they're her best, but they are the ones that deal with soul charges, so they can get even better. In this case, we're going to use her level 2, Unleash Hell, and that's because it's an AoE magic attack. It's also going to add a few more dots just in case the enemies needed it. So hopefully you noticed how the Meteor Swarm stacks went from 2 to 3 on Red Hulk. And we're not even done yet. Next up, with Luke Cage, we're going to use Fatal Fist on Beast. Unfortunately, this attack isn't going to do that much damage, or else we would take him down with Fatal Blow. And then he takes his Meteor Swarm stacks as well as a few more dots. It also appears Incapacitation from our Deathly Freeze Ray is kicking in like crazy, because Red Hulk and Beast ended up missing their turns. That's too bad for them, because after using Fire Tornado and exhausting their entire team, my agent's going to use the Signpost, which is a magic effect, and the Twisted Gift. So at this point, their Meteor Swarm stack should be pretty much at their max. Not that they stood much of a chance anyways. But now with Beast down, the enemy agent follows suit, and Magik will get her final attack before Red Hulk dies to damage over time effects. That's going to end up being how this first match ends, and like I said, this is probably the most powerful team up, but the other 2 are very interesting as well. So who's going to be Magik's second team up? Well, it's the Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange. With this team, we're trying to exploit attrition, and we're even using 3 pieces of the Horseman set. That way the No Mercy gains exploit attrition, and the Ex-Oblivion gains Chaos Shot. To give us those 3 pieces, we are using the Gaunt Caress. So anyways, after getting a big and fast proc, we're first going to use the Ex-Oblivion, and that should set up a number of debuffs on the enemy team. Then Doctor Strange got a turn because he was attacked by a blaster, and with that turn we're going to use his level 1 Bolts of Balthak. I have to say, the only thing that concerns me right now is that Protective Shroud, but luckily we do hit. Next up, with Magik, I'm going to begin by using her level 1, and will also attack Storm. With her AISO, this is supposed to give us 2 stacks of soul charge, and then after that, let's see what the enemy Hercules decides to do. Well, he's going to go with his AoE stun, Calm Down. Well, apparently it didn't work on Doctor Strange, so we're first going to use his quick action level 2 heal, and that also grants Rising Up because of the Rising AISO. Then after that, we're going to use his level 6, the Vapors of Voltor. And this is an AoE attack, but it does cause Hercules to counter with a Calm Down. I have to say, 2 columns down, and I don't like those odds. I'm guessing we're going to be stunned, so I guess we'll find out after this attack. And yes, my agent and Magik are both stunned. In the meantime, at least Storm died to her dots, and next up is going to be the enemy Hercules. This time he goes with a single target attack, and for that he takes a stepping disc counter. At this juncture in the battle, Doctor Strange's level 1 can do some incredible damage. It should be able to take down the enemy agent, but that protective shroud is so persistent it's still on the agent. And because of that, we miss. The good news is we finally get Magik's Pass of the Proc, and it helps us dodge an attack from the Second Amendment. For those of you who aren't familiar with this weapon, it's a catastrophic AoE attack that has a 60% chance to stun. It also causes weakened and dizzy, so that was a fantastic time to dodge. It actually kind of seems like Magik's passive waits for those big times to proc. I guess her stepping disc is just clutch like that. But anyways, Doctor Strange is going to end this one with his level 1. This time it does hit. Now this is going to bring us to a long but very exciting final match. I put a very slight speed up on it, that way it goes just a little bit faster. In this one, Damon Hellstrom's going to start it out, and I debated using Cloaked in Shadows. Now we're using that because of Skittering Darkness, and also it makes our attack stealthy, which I will admit actually slipped my mind for a moment. But I figured that maybe with Skittering Darkness and that 50% chance to evade, along with Magik's passive, perhaps we could end up making the enemy team miss most of their attacks. Or at least that's what I hoped for. However, the reason I didn't use it first is because I figured Blackest Void would be used and it would just be wiped away. So instead I went with a quick action summon and our level 1. The enemy team of course has survival training and shields, so with Invisible Woman that means they're going to have the circulating and powered ISO 8. Not to worry though, because Magik has bursting on our level 2. Still, even though we shut down their counterattacks with the Neuropurge, as soon as we use our Fire Tornado they get their shields. And there goes all our debuff work. What can you do? That's pretty much expected. So then we'll just go ahead and use a No Mercy on the agent, and that's the end of our turn. After this, I was just thinking I can't wait for Magik to blow up their shields. All we need to do is make it to her turn, and then use that level 2. Before that though, the enemy agent uses the Fire Tornado, so that was pretty smart of the AI, and then after that they used a T-Bolt Glove. Still, with Magik, we're ready to go. Here goes a catastrophic AoE attack that has Shield Breaker. But we have a Cower proc? Wow, I can't even explain what I was feeling at this point. Our entire team was injured, and we couldn't even use any debuffs on the enemies, which is what this team was relying on. So after healing Magik with Damon, on my agent's turn we're going to use the Warm Zephyr, and that's it because we are exhausted. Almost as if to rub it in, the AI uses Warm Zephyr and the Light Fantastic. So they are at full health, they have their shield, survival training, and mirror reality. But hey, at least Magik can use her level 2, and this time we do break some shields. We're also going to take some counterattacks, plus a decent hit from Force Volley on Invisible Woman's team, and so our entire team is around 50% HP. Now is when I figured we might as well use Cloak of Shadows. But it doesn't save us yet as we don't dodge anything, and Falcon puts on one of his biggest AoE hits I've taken in quite some time. Now I know what this looks like, we're going to lose, and we're going to lose badly. But listen, this fight is in the video for a reason, and you can bet that you haven't seen the reason yet. Now right here with my agent, I'm jumping around and I'm not sure what I'm going to do, and the reason is because I forgot that all my attacks are stealthy. That's because of Damon Hellstrom's team buff, Skittering Darkness. So after this hits me, I use the Fire Tornado, and then I can still attack with the No Mercy. I don't have to worry about any attacks from the infiltrators or protection, though I do decide to concentrate on the enemy agent anyways. I thought if we want to win this, we have to knock him out. Unfortunately, we're barely doing any damage because of survival training. However, our damage over time effects do take their toll. Oh, and here comes Magik with a stepping disc to evade a Fire Tornado. So talk about great timing. Once again, there she is. Then with her attack, we're going to use a Soul Sword. And yes, we're going after the agent. Next, Invisible Woman's going to take some of her damage over time. And then she uses a Force Volley which knocks out my agent. So now we only have a 50% HP or so Magik, and an extremely hurt Damon Hellstrom. No more Agent to save us. Well, we're still working on theirs, and we're going to place Despair on him and Poison. Then I'm going to use our level 1 to easily take him within dot range. Now he's definitely going to die, but Falcon takes down Damon Hellstrom. Oh, but wait, we do have his E-ISO, so that brings us back to life at 50% HP. And now it's time Falcon must die. So, we'll start by using our level 6 Soul Flare, and after that we get a follow-up Eye Bite Sting. Unfortunately our stealth ran out, so he does counterattack, but misses. So next, on Damon Hellstrom's turn, we're actually going to use Purifying Flames, and that's going to restore him to 100% health. Magik is unfortunately under a force cage, so she can't break their shields just yet. But the good news is they also can hurt her. We also get a Brimstone counter on Falcon, and then with Magik we have to recharge. Next, Invisible Woman puts a force cage on Damon, and I'm just fine with that because we can still use our abilities. The reason for this is because Purifying Flames removes and prevents debuffs. So he was unaffected, and yes, the AI wasted their turn. But the best news is Magik is now out of her cage and she can break the opponent's shields. So now I think you can see who's going to win. Constrictor even comes out and tries to help them, but he misses and Damon takes him out as well. That's what you get for helping the enemy. Now I'm going to use our Summon as a quick action, followed by our level 1 on Falcon. This will indeed give us a 2-on-1 advantage against Sue Storm. First up, Magik's going to use her Soul Sword, which won't exactly finish this fight, but it is a start. Then Invisible Woman's going to take some damage over time effects, plus apparently a stepping disc, and then Damon's going to wrap up this improbable comeback. So yes, it was a long match, but it was a great outcome. And that is how this episode is going to end. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I want to thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.